Hey guys, Nexus here with Filthy Casual.
Hello.
Today we're playing MapleStory, talking about memories.
Yep.
Do memories exist? Is it all in your head? All that shit?
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm gonna kick it off, right?
Mhm.
What's your fondest memory?
Hmm. I have no idea.
Oh wow,
You
you're
know me, nothing
so...
happens in my life.
Andrew, man. Sort your life out.
I don't know. I don't.
You must be able to know what your happiest memory is. Like,
I know
no
I
matter-
must, but now you've put me on the spot. I can't think of like any memories at all, like anything that's ever happened in my life.
Wow.
I guess. I don't know if it's like my like fondest one, but one that immediately comes to mind is when I played guitar as part of a show, like a performance in
Okay.
where was it? It was Goldsmiths, I think. Yeah, it was Goldsmiths.
Was that
there
as a big
like,
performance or like just you in a little band?
well, because it was like it was part of a sort of like a not musical, but it was like a drama thing, and there was like a big production with like, you know, there was like loads of like dancers and stuff like that. But yeah, I was part of like the accompanying band, and we played like at various points during the show.
That's pretty sick.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. That was like my first like proper sort of live performance, I guess, with guitar.
That's pretty cute.
Fuck you. What are you gonna say then?
My favorite memory was meeting you, Andrew.
Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, I'm kidding. No, that was one of the worst things that's
I
ever
know,
happened.
I know.
Ugh. Making me actually do work and shit. Ugh. Helping me with music. Ugh. Taking me to fucking my first roller coaster ride.
Oh yeah.
No,
Literally.
that was sick though when we went.
I know,
roller coaster.
right? Oh, that was so good.
And somehow I ended up getting an annual pass.
Oh yeah. Oh god.
That's sick,
Are you planning to go back?
I don't know, man.
Shit.
It was fun, but who would I go with? I don't have any friends.
Just go with me again next time I'm back.
That's a good idea. Let me do that. But no, like I think my fondest memory would have to be like some shit with like an ex or something. You know, had some,
Yeah.
some relationships. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good
like,
one.
I've had some like passionate relationships which are like great memories, but then in some like not so passionate relationships, I've gone to like amazing gigs or like done amazing things with them, but it wasn't like them that I liked. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So I don't really know which I prefer.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. So yeah, tell me about some memories.
What's your worst memory? Actually, I'll ask you that first, and then I'll say mine.
My worst memory.
Yeah.
Okay, probably. Did I say it in the education episode where like
Might have done.
my father took me to like a street performer, and it was like it was a robot dancing, and
yeah. You told me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you talked about that. Yeah.
yeah, and like pretty much anything embarrassing that's happened to me or anything which like makes me seem weak because I hate flaws in myself. So like anything, like literally I can remember something like a bad moment in my life or like something embarrassing, and like my skin will like itch as like a reaction to just thinking about it. Like
Wow.
uncontrollably itch, and it's weird.
That's crazy.
And I don't know. I mean, it's just like a huge hatred of like being a pussy, and then you know like you change yourself, and it's like, you know, you don't want to think of that past self anymore.
Sure. Yeah. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
I don't know. I mean, I've had some bad memories of like, say like teachers treating me badly. Like I think I told you in one of the episodes about the teacher who claimed I didn't have any anxiety or whatever, and just told me to like
Oh
stop
yeah. I remember you said that. Yeah.
And like that made me, like I was crying and shit, and that made me feel awful.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't know how much of it is like a bad memory, because although it was a bad thing, I feel like I learned a lot from it, like about people and like who to trust, and you know
Right.
how
Yeah.
how
Okay.
other people perceive me as well. It's a
Okay.
big thing. Because I know a lot of people, a lot of people only take what they see on the outside as like who that person is.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
What's your worst memory?
I don't think I have any like super embarrassing moments, but I'd say maybe the day my grandma died.
How
Yeah,
so?
I'd say that's. I mean, I was quite young, but yeah, I remember it. Not even mainly because of like how it made me feel, because I mean, obviously, like I was really upset, but I was quite young. I think this was maybe even before primary school, like at the beginning of primary school. Yeah, it was like 2001 or something, I think. But because it was like the first time I'd seen my dad cry,
Oh yeah.
and like I'd never really seen him
You
like
spoke
upset
about
about
this in
anything
another
before.
episode, I think.
We might have done that,
I
yeah.
remember you saying like your dad was crying at some point, and
Yeah,
I
maybe we
remember.
did actually, yeah. But yeah, I'd say probably that.
That's fair enough. I am yet to experience someone dying, but I reckon that will be like a huge impact to my life when I do.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But I don't know. Hopefully not anytime soon.
Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, I don't know.
All right, so like I once read this theory, which like isn't really a theory. It's just a thing which like you can't prove and you can't disprove.
Okay.
Kind of. Is that you could have just woken up this morning, like been born this morning, and had all the memories just implanted in your brain.
Yeah.
So like, respectfully, you could only be like 1 second old, or you could only be 1 day old, or whatever. And does that make you, like, the fact that memories could be like fake like that, or like, things might, how does that make you feel? If it was true, and if it isn't true, or whatever.
I don't know, it's weird, I guess. I mean, yeah, I mean, I suppose it is one of those things that I mean, while it sounds ludicrous, you can't really disprove it easily, not like logically anyway. I guess, like, if it was the case, it wouldn't, like, I don't know, I wouldn't think it would it wouldn't matter that much, in a sense, because the only point of reference you have is from your own memories and experiences anyway. And so, even if they were like, somehow just given to you that day, like, a day before or whatever,
Yeah.
that would still be all you knew. So it wouldn't like make any difference, if that makes any sense.
No, I think that's a good way of thinking about it.
Because you can't like it's impossible to look at yourself from like outside your own memories,
Yeah.
So it regardless, it still makes you who you are, I think. Yeah, I don't know.
There's an episode of Red Dwarf where like the loser virgin kind of character in it is like he's really depressed or whatever, and it's his birthday. So another character gives him his own memories of like one of his exes. So it'd be like, say I put one of my exes, my memory of my ex into your brain.
Yeah.
So like you thought that you went out with one of my exes and like had that amazing time or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he woke up and he felt like amazing, because he just remembered like he had that amazing love affair as a teenager or whatever. And it's like it wasn't his memories, but it was they acted it really well as he was happy remembering it. But then when he found out that it wasn't his memories, that it was just his friend's memories, he felt really bad about it.
Right. Yeah. I guess so. That's the thing. Like if you were to ever find out, I think it would make you feel like terrible. But
If you
just
don't
as a pure thought experiment, it's yeah, I don't think it's like it wouldn't be as bad as some people would make it out to be, I think.
Yeah. Alright,
Yeah, I
hit me
don't
with something, because I got bare questions.
Okay, what do you if actually I think we talked about this a little bit before, where you remember I told you about that film where you can like erase memories.
Oh yeah.
If you could do that, what would you do, and what would you do on?
What would I get rid of?
Yeah, if you like of a person or like like an event or just anything really.
Okay, so are we going with like if you get rid of this memory, after like the subconscious stuff you've learned from it goes as well, or can you just get rid of like the active thought of having that memory but still keep the shit you've learned from it?
That's a good question, actually. I don't know. I didn't think about the semantics of it. I guess like what? Give me like a specific example.
Because like, say I was bullied as a kid, right?
Sure.
And now that gives me motivation to like be, you know, more like assertive and like not get bullied and shit.
Okay.
Right? Now, if I could get rid of that memory but still be that assertive and like not give a shit and shit like that.
Okay, I see. Where you're coming
I would
from.
choose that. But like if I could forget that, but then I'd be some next level pussy who gets bullied, because it's just like if you forget it, you're just gonna let it happen again.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. I don't know how that would work.
But I guess sometimes there are just memories which are just really bad, and you don't learn anything from them.
Yeah.
And it might just be nice for peace of mind to like, maybe people coming back from wars and shit. That would be amazing for them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe.
Okay, this comes on to my topic of my biggest fear is losing my memory, and I hate it when I can't remember things, like even little things. You know, like when you just like, where was I 5 minutes ago, or what was I doing this day? What did I say to that person exactly? I hate the idea that you cannot remember every inch of what you do.
Yeah, it is weird, isn't it? I think like, I mean, there's like a theory or an idea that you can remember like everything. It's just you
really
can't.
deep inside
It's
your
just
head.
like hard to like bring it up, you know. But if you like train yourself properly or focus yourself properly, then you can remember like details. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's weird because you're like, it makes you feel like it was like a wasted time, or like it wasn't meaning anything, you know.
And it's like you lived it. You know you lived it, but you can't
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
it, and it's just so surreal.
Do you think that's better than completely forgetting that it happened at all, or?
Well, like say, oh, I
like
don't know what I did on Tuesday, but I know that it's Wednesday, as opposed to thinking it's Tuesday on Wednesday.
Kind of, or like, say like you were like I don't know, like, oh, I remember doing something on this day, like, with this person or whatever, but you can't remember, like, who it was or what you did, but you remember that something happened.
Yeah.
As opposed to just not remembering any of it at all, and not even, like, thinking about it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So it's sort of like you remember that you forgot something, but, or you just forget it completely.
I think it's probably nicer to know that you did something but not quite sure what, even though it can sort of weigh on your mind and torment you. I mean, I like to know as much as
it's
I
like
can.
a half memory sort of, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd hate to just have like skipped days or whatever.
Right,
you know,
okay,
just
yeah.
not knowing what's happening. Right. Now, to me, right, if you lose your memories, you're dead. In my opinion, if my mind goes blank and new memories have to come and like, you know, start again, I have died.
Okay.
Right? Like from my perspective, it's like if I clone you and then kill you, your version, you've died, and then obviously a different you still lives, and like to everyone else, you're alive, but like the you that's inside your head just died.
Yeah, so I guess you're like talking about like extreme like cases of like amnesia and shit.
Yeah, and like dementia and shit like that.
Yeah, where people like, I mean, it's obviously like really rare, but people have, you know, where they just forget everything before a certain day or whatever.
Because if that happens, you're like an empty vessel. I mean, are you like, you're not that person anymore?
Yeah, I guess so. That's interesting. Yeah,
and that's really scary to me.
There's a book I was reading recently, which had quite a lot of this to do with it. Actually, there's a lot of just like a load of case studies by the psychologists on people with like weird like brain conditions, and there's like a whole section dedicated to like memory loss and stuff. And he talks about like he meets people who have, you know, like can't remember anything before, you know, a certain day on this year or something like that. And it's yeah, that question comes up a lot. It's like, did that part of their life even take place really if they can't remember any of it? And yeah, it's I don't know, it's crazy. It's like, and yeah, they still have physically lived through that that
Yeah,
time, but
it's weird.
if it's not in their minds, then it's almost like it doesn't matter that it happened in the first place.
I mean, like logically, there are other ways where it does matter. It's like how you affect other people's lives.
True,
and
yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. But to your own like personal self, if you don't remember them, it's just awful, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And some like often it's like the person like the amnesiac or whatever finds it like hard to understand. Like they might not realize why it's so bad at first, you know.
Yeah.
Because
Now,
if
part of
you don't
this-
know what you're missing, then it's hard to it's hard to like understand why, you know,
Part of
why
this
you
makes
miss
me
it.
wonder a lot about religion, and
Okay.
you know, like the whole thing with like heaven and stuff. And it's like, oh, if I lose my memories before I die, will I go to heaven as this guy with no memories, or you know, like all sorts of shit like this. And you know, I wish it was like more explained in you know religions and stuff, like that the process of it. I mean,
Right.
even though I don't believe in it, I mean, like it really gets me curious, and I hate the fact that like I can see like you know flaws which like specific to my beliefs. I mean, other people might not worry about it. They might think they go back to their prime in heaven, or like they might do a certain, you know, they have their own ways. But you know, I'm like, you know, give me the proof, and it is how it is, you know.
Sure.
And even though I don't believe in religion, like it annoys me that there are facts contributing to the fact that I don't,
Okay.
other than just my own personal beliefs. Like,
yeah,
if
yeah.
I'd be very happy with just saying, oh, I don't believe in the concept of there being heaven and hell, whatever, and God, so I won't believe in it. But I hate the fact that it's, I don't believe in heaven or hell or God because this specific part of the Bible doesn't make sense, or
Right,
you
yeah.
know, that kind of.
There's a lot of that though. I mean, even like like believers and religious people, like there's just like loads of them will tell you there's like a lot of that they don't understand, and a lot of things that they can't explain, which I find kind of weird, and I don't know, I find it odd that people can live like such a different lifestyle and like devote so much of their life to something that they don't fully understand.
You understand? Yeah.
That was actually probably the main reason I stopped being a Christian in the first place, is because I just didn't understand like more than half of it. And I was just like, I don't feel comfortable believing in something that I don't understand, you know.
I think that's like why a lot of people are the way we are,
Yeah, definitely.
which is fair. And I think both sides of the coin are fair, but I mean, it's just my personal side of it.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know, it's interesting what you're saying about like if a person loses all their memories then they just die.
From their perspective.
I
Like,
don't
if
know,
I
like
wiped
it's
your-
hard like there's like I'm not sure I would say that they like die as a person. I think
How-
it's
how
more
come?
like I like personally I think it's more like they just kind of like become a different person, you know.
But isn't that the same thing?
I don't know though. I don't know if it
It's
is.
like the soul. It's like you're saying you are your body, but some people are like you are your mind, or you are just the soul. Like you could put your brain in a jar that could like you know connect to computers and shit in the future maybe, and then you know that'll be you because it's your mind. You know, it's the only thing which really is you.
Right, yeah, no, for sure. But I think, like, from reading this book, for example, I think, like, even in cases where, you know, people just, like, lose all their memories from before a certain day, there's often still, like, little things about them that, like, from the past that still affect them.
Or like body twitches, or like you know like habits or whatever.
Yeah, that kind of stuff, yeah. I mean, I
Okay.
can't really think of any specific examples now, but
I wouldn't say that makes them like still alive. I think that just like I don't know. I think it's like seeing a dead body and being like, well, the body still looks like the person. Do you know what I mean?
Right, okay. I mean, there's, trying to think of examples, but there might be cases of, like, in maybe, like, slightly less severe cases where, I don't know, if you ask like, there might be a guy who, like, forgot that he had a brother or something, for example, and if you asked him, like, you know, oh, how's your brother doing, or whatever, he would be like, I don't have a brother, you know, and he would just, like, completely, like, deny any memory of him. But then when he like, if you introduce them, like after a
they'd know
while,
each
he
other.
would remember. He would be like, oh yeah, I remember you. Like, and then when they go away, he would just completely forget again. You know, it's like kind of like more selective memory, I suppose you could say.
And
Whereas,
does the thought
like-
of that not terrify you? Like, just like
It's-
getting older
it's
and
so
remembering
scary,
things
yeah.
and forgetting it would just be like, what is happening to my life? Like every second is like a mystery and everything's changing all the time. And
Yeah, absolutely. It's, oh yeah, no, it's a terrifying thought to think that that's even possible.
yeah,
It's crazy for sure. But I don't know. I guess we'll never know really.
well, maybe, I don't know. Technology is going pretty cool.
Yeah, well, yeah. Psychology is still quite like primitive though. Like the understanding of
Yeah.
like the brain and the memory, like how memory works and stuff, is actually still quite low.
But the technology that we need to like look at that shit is being developed as we speak. You know, like new brain scanning type equipment is happening. all
Sure.
the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's only a matter of time, I suppose.
Anyway, give me a juicy question. Actually, no. Fuck you. I thought of a question. Right.
Oh. Okay.
Sorry. So if you could have like a memory implanted in your brain, which you didn't which wasn't actually your experience, but you know, you could believe it was, would you do that? Like, say somebody was like, "Oh, I can make your brain think that you've slept with Jennifer Lawrence one night."
Right. Would I like
You wouldn't know that it was
fake?
a fake. Yeah.
Um.
But like other people might know. You know, like
That's
you
interesting.
could be bragging to me like, "Lewis, I slept with Jennifer Lawrence. I remember it. Like last night, I was in Vegas," and I was like, "No, you're not in Vegas. We done our Let's Play last night. But you
Yeah.
forgotten about the Let's Play or something."
Yeah. I think it depend on what it was, but I think if it was the right kind of thing, I think I probably would. Yeah. It would have to be something that was like not so like huge and like potentially like life changing, or something that could like potentially affect me as a person hugely, if that makes sense.
See, I think that's a terrible thing to think, because imagine the use you could do for like learning things by implanting memory.
I guess so.
I have a memory of going through this course. And then you have the
But-
memories of like that education system, and you learn things, and it's like you didn't actually do it, but you have those memories and thoughts implanted into your brain.
I guess so. Is that the same though? I don't know. I have a feeling there's something like different about actually learning something and the process of learning something than just like the memory
they
of
say
it.
isn't the definition of learning remembering something and then like reflecting
I guess
off
so,
that
yeah,
memory?
but like to learn something, you have to like repeat it over and over, right?
So you can memorize it.
I guess so. I don't know.
It seems surreal because learning is such an active thing.
Yeah, exactly, and it's such a like, it's like the, I can't think how to explain it, but it's like you have to, more than learning something, you have to like understand it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
And like
then,
obviously the best way
when-
to understand things is to actually like do it repeatedly.
You know when you watch The Matrix and it's like, oh, I want to learn how to like hijack a plane. So then they
I
download
remember that. Yeah,
And it's like,
and he just like imprints the
Yeah.
whatever it is, like like all those fighting techniques and shit. Yeah,
is that like theoretically not possible, or would it be possible for you to 1 minute know how to do this?
I have no
or not
idea.
know then,
That'd be fucking weird if you could though.
I think it would be kind of bad-ish. Like, I
It's
hate
hard to
things that
say.
make life seem trivial.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, is that if you can suddenly just learn anything you want in like a few seconds, it just kind of, yeah, I know, it just kind of like simplifies everything to such a ridiculous degree.
But I feel like life will get there eventually, because that's what human technology does. Is
Maybe,
we want
yeah.
to survive and make things easier on ourselves. That is all we want.
Yeah, that is pretty much what technology is. It's like a large amount of technology is just based on making our lives easier, or making machines that can do things like better and faster and whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's weird.
I don't know if I'd like that a lot. It's hard to say. For some things
mean-
maybe, but I don't know. For some things,
I think you'd need like an ethical balance.
sure. Yeah, I don't know. If I could get a memory printed though, I think I'd have like, I don't know, just something really like trivial and like sort of not exactly meaningless, but something that's just like, I don't know, like sleeping with Jennifer Lawrence or something, you know, just something that's just like a cool thing to remember, but it's not gonna like.
It's not gonna change your life.
It's not gonna like change my personality or my like the way I look at the world or whatever.
I think that like specific type of memory might be good for people who are like a little bit introverted or whatever when it comes to like girls and stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, aren't that confident or whatever. I think it's a cool idea.
What about you?
What would I have? It really depends on like the context of like how it would work and if I could learn things from it. Because if I could learn things, then I would try and learn a lot of things, maybe. But like, maybe just having a memory which like makes me insanely happy every time I think about it would be really nice.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. Like, if you can just, you know, to have like those memories where if you're like, I don't know, if you're upset about something or you're having like a shitty day or whatever, you can just think about it and it just makes you feel better, you know.
Or having like a motivational memory. Like, I know this sounds awful, but like imagine you had like, say like a best friend, and then like on their deathbed they were like, Matrix Let's Plays, never give up. And then you remembered that, and then you know, I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Although I think another weird thing is like, say like, okay, I want this memory of my best friend saying this to me, right? But not your best friend, like a made-up best friend.
Okay.
Now that is like a simple statement, but then you have to think, you have to create a memory of an entire best friend. It's like, you know, how they became, like, how would that work?
I don't know, that's a bit weird, isn't it?
Would you just be like, oh, Kevin told me this, and then like when you think about it deeper, you're like, who the fuck is Kevin? Or like, would you have extensive knowledge of who Kevin is?
Yeah, because if you've got a memory of having a best friend, then surely there are going to be lots of other memories to go with it.
Yeah, and
like,
it must be
of him or her.
It must make it. Now I'm wondering if implanting memories are possible at all, because like it has to fit in a gap of somewhere in your life. It has to actually be believable.
I don't know, because that's the thing about memories. Is like they're all linked in some way.
Yeah, they all interlock.
And they all sort of like have their own place in time to some degree. Even if like, you know, sometimes you can't remember when specifically something happened, you still sort of have this idea of like chronological order in your head of when things happened and where they happened and whatnot.
It's interesting though.
It's weird though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You got any of those juicy questions?
How much do you think memories like 100% just make up a person and who they are?
Oh, that is a tough one. I would say they make up a majority of what the person is. Like a huge majority, like maybe 95.
Right, okay.
Well, I don't think it's all that is. Because, okay, now, I'm kind of contradicting myself, because in my, like, sometimes I think memories is all it is. Like, you could put your head in a jar and then you're still you and shit. Just all you need is your memories. But then that's only like one part of you, you know, like I am my body as well. I am my nervous twitches. I am all that stuff, and, you know, they're not part of my memories. This body is an extension of my mind.
Okay, that's interesting.
But I think if you put it in context, it's like, if you remove your mind, you're 100% memories. But if you're still in your body, you're not. And you can survive without your body, but it's still part of you.
Okay, right, that makes sense. So, yeah, I guess so. So, like, if you were to, you know, if you were, like, suddenly, like, your mind was suddenly in, like, a different body, you'd still, like, essentially be the same person.
Yeah.
Just with, like, a different, like, I don't know how to put it, but you're still basically the same person, just, like, in a different, like, situation, like, in a different place, or
yeah, pretty much.
with, like, different surroundings. I guess that makes sense, yeah. I don't know.
I've got a good question, which I think will help me get to know you a little bit better.
Right, go on.
Okay, so which memories of yours are like vital to your personal growth, and like not like shit you need to do now, but like what memories have made you become what you are now? Which ones were important?
God, there's probably quite a few. I think a lot of my time, like the last especially the last couple of years of secondary school, especially in terms of, well, I mean, it's, in terms of music, that's like when I became, I think I mentioned it before, like that's when I became really like interested in music. And
Yeah. Alright, now, let me try and like whittle this down in my head, because I just thought of like a flaw in my question there.
okay, go on then.
It's like, if I ask you what like memory most like affects your life and changes, made you become this person, it is different from asking what action in your life made you become this, what turn of events made you become this person. And I know you memorize everything you do, but I think some of it is like the like the learning you do from it afterwards, and which is different from learning in the moment.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. I know that makes a lot more sense actually. Yeah. Okay, well in that case,
It's like, what if you look back? Okay, like, so I had therapy, right, for my anxiety.
Sure.
Right? And I can remember my therapy, and it changed my life. But I cannot say the memory of the therapy changed my life, because I don't think about it now to enforce the change. It has changed. It's like embodied.
Sure, yeah. Okay, I'd say there's two things I can think of now. I'd say the first one is probably my parents breaking up. Because like I said before, I was obviously really young at the time to really, gain much from it as it was happening. But then over the years, as I've remembered it and thought about it, it's sort of like, changed my view on, like parenting and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's one of the big ones. I'd say the other one is maybe, I don't know though, like you're saying about whether you learn from the memory or whether you learn from as it's sort of happening.
Yeah.
But I say the other one was, I guess, like my ex, and like around that time of like being more like socially independent, I guess, especially like after I finished sixth form and I had like a gap year, so I had like, I guess you could say I had sort of like time to reflect on that time, because I wasn't doing like a whole lot during the gap year, other than working. So I guess I learned like quite a lot like about myself, if that makes sense.
I think that's a really fair thing to say.
And about like how I interact with people and that kind of stuff, and like how people see me as well. So yeah, I'd say those two are probably the biggest ones.
That's fair enough.
What about you?
It's hard for me to grasp my head around like what is a memory and what is like action. But
Okay.
like I had a fucked up relationship when I was 16, and I can like, the relationship changed me then and there, but now the reflection of how I have changed makes me reflect on it more, and that memory is something I think about it now, and I still change myself based off how it was now, and like comparing the two,
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
which I really like to be able to do that, but only in certain circumstances. Like if I still feel like I can learn from that memory, because some memories which I've changed, I don't think I can learn from them anymore. So it's
Right,
like
okay,
they're not
yeah.
important to me.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff from my ex is like probably, like really vital memories, and also lots and lots of like, I'm gonna say like social things which have happened to me are the most important memory as one, because like they're each individually like tiny like micro memories,
Yeah,
but they've
yeah.
formed how I can socialize. Like I don't socialize normally like, oh, I'm just gonna say this and I want to, and I'm gonna adapt the conversation, like just talk. I have to make a database in my mind of what I'm gonna say, how they'll react. I have to sort of predict what people are gonna say and learn through like repetition. If like, oh, if he says what's up, I have a list of things in my head which I can reply to.
Right.
I
yeah.
can't do like impromptu conversation, like not like I can talk, but like only if it's like already in my understanding of like how to react. If somebody like blows me out of the water just saying like, you know, like these emos who sometimes say like raw or like will just say something completely random. And it's like I haven't thought of a way in my brain to like react to this person properly, and it's like I can't do it. And like memories which help me do that are like vital to me being who I am today.
Okay, that makes sense. Yep, that's fair enough. Good shit. We must be like, we're like half an hour in now.
Yeah, 35 minutes. So
Oh wow.
kick off your next topic and we'll go.
Homelessness is going to be the next subject.
Alright guys, today tomorrow, gonna talk about those filthy tramps. Those filthy crutters tramps sitting outside the DLR stations and all the train stations, right? Guys who pee on buses and shit like that. Guys who sit next to you, like, and you don't want them to because they smell like shit. And we'll talk about the nice stuff about homelessness as well.
Wow. Jesus. Yep. Well, see you later, guys.
See you guys.